The drama surrounding the Indiana Fever's stunning playoff run reached its peak when the unthinkable happened. In a season defined by doubt, by injuries, and by endless dismissals from analysts, the Fever marched into Las Vegas and did what no one believed was possible. They beat the two-time defending champion Aces 89-73 in Game 1 of the semifinals. On a night when the spotlight was supposed to shine solely on A'ja Wilson, newly crowned MVP, the story flipped on its head. The underdog Fever, missing 6 key players, found a way to flip the entire script. For fans, for critics, for the league itself, this wasn't just an upset, it was a statement. Before the game tipped off, the storylines were already written. ESPN analysts laughed at the idea of Indiana stealing even a single game. Oddsmakers treated the series like a formality. Pregame panels said it was less about if the Aces would win than by how much. And in Las Vegas, the celebration was prepared. Wilson's MVP trophy gleamed at center court, a symbol of dominance and inevitability. But basketball has a way of humbling expectations. While Vegas prepared to showcase their coronation, Indiana prepared to fight for survival. What happened next turned into one of the most dramatic playoff nights in recent memory. The Fever had no business being here. Their playoff path had been improbable enough, knocking out Atlanta despite a roster battered by injuries. Caitlin Clark, the phenom rookie and face of the franchise, was sidelined. Sophie Cunningham was gone. Sydney Colson, Chloe Beebe, Arie McDonald, DeWanna Bonner, names that should have been part of the rotation were instead part of the injury list. 6 players out, a 9-woman rotation patched together by head coach Stephanie White. On paper, this team wasn't just shorthanded, they were broken. Many called them lucky to even reach the semifinals, and by every logical measure, the journey should have ended there. But the thing about sports is that logic doesn't always win. Inside the arena, the stage looked set for a blowout. The Aces were at full strength, riding the high of Wilson's MVP crowning, banners hanging overhead, the crowd brimming with confidence. Indiana was meant to be the supporting cast, present only so Vegas could strut into another finals. And yet, what unfolded was the exact opposite. Kelsey Mitchell, a name too often overlooked in WNBA conversations, refused to let her team fade into the background. For years, Mitchell has carried the reputation of being an elite scorer without the recognition that should come with it. She has heard the critics, felt the disrespect, and even admitted she kept a written list of the people who doubted her. But on this night, she didn't need to speak her truth. She showed it on the floor. Mitchell erupted for 34 points, shooting 12 of 23 from the field, drilling 4 of 6 from deep, and sinking all 6 of her free throws. It wasn't just efficient, it was relentless. From mid-range pull-ups to deep threes, from slicing into the lane to hitting contested jumpers, Mitchell was unguardable. With every bucket, the noise inside the arena shifted from celebration to shock. By the final buzzer, she had shattered a WNBA record, the most points ever scored in a semifinal debut. For the Fever, it was their first playoff performance with a player eclipsing 30 points since 2012. For Mitchell, it was the kind of performance that changes legacies. Even Caitlin Clark, watching from the sidelines in street clothes, couldn't contain her admiration. After the game, she posted 2 words on social media: Kelsey unreal. That simple reaction captured the moment. This wasn't about rookies or future stars. This was about a veteran finally demanding her place in the spotlight. But Mitchell wasn't alone. To topple the Aces, the Fever needed more than one hero. They needed a collective effort that stretched beyond the box score. At the center of that effort was Aaliyah Boston. Her assignment? Guard A'ja Wilson, the MVP, the unstoppable force of the league. Wilson's stat line still read strong, 16 points and 13 rebounds, but anyone who watched knew the real story. Boston harassed her all night, forcing her into uncomfortable spots, pushing her away from the rim and contesting every touch. Wilson never found her rhythm. Her buckets came late in the shot clock, under duress, without the flow that normally defines her dominance. For the Aces, Wilson's struggles rippled through the offense, throwing off their usual confidence. For the Fever, Boston's resilience was the anchor they desperately needed. Lexi Hull also rose to the occasion. Tasked with defending Jackie Young, she shadowed her relentlessly, refusing to give space on cuts or screens. Young's impact was blunted, her usual scoring bursts silenced. Hull added her own points too, knocking down crucial threes when Indiana needed momentum. It was a two-way performance that reminded everyone the Fever were more than a one-woman show. Odyssey Sims, fearless as ever, brought the fire. She attacked the Aces' defense head-on, driving into the paint, drawing fouls, and shifting the tempo of the game. While Vegas expected Indiana to play cautiously, Sims sped things up, putting the Aces on their heels. Natasha Howard, steady as always, recorded another double-double, controlling the glass and providing muscle inside. And Brianna Turner, though not flashy, made her presence felt by altering shots, protecting the rim, and clogging the paint. Collectively, the Fever outscored Las Vegas 50-38 in the paint, a statistic that no one saw coming and one that turned the entire matchup on its head. By halftime, the crowd's confidence had begun to waver. By the fourth quarter, silence hung over the building as the scoreboard reflected what few could believe. Indiana was not just hanging around. They were dominating. When the final horn sounded, the Fever had pulled off the upset of the playoffs, walking off the Aces' floor with an emphatic 16-point victory. Even Aces coach Becky Hammon, never one to sugarcoat, admitted the truth afterward. "We had no answer for Mitchell," she said. It was a rare concession, but one that underscored what everyone watching had witnessed. Indiana didn't just sneak away with a win. They imposed their will. For the Fever, the symbolism couldn't have been more powerful. On the very night A'ja Wilson was crowned MVP, Mitchell and Indiana stole her spotlight. It was as if the Fever were declaring to the world, "We have our own star, our own identity, and our own belief." Still, one win does not end a series. History shows that teams who lose Game 1 in a best-of-5 still come back to win 28% of the time. The Aces are champions for a reason. They've been here before, faced setbacks before, and know how to respond. Game 2 looms as a dangerous test. Wilson will come out hunting for redemption. Jackie Young will look to shake off her struggles. Hammon will make adjustments, preparing to throw doubles and traps at Mitchell, forcing Indiana to find other ways to score. For the Fever, the challenge shifts. Winning as underdogs in Game 1 is one thing. Winning again when the champions are angry, desperate, and better prepared is another. Can Mitchell replicate her scoring outburst under tighter defense? Can Boston once again frustrate Wilson for 40 minutes? Can the Fever's supporting cast match the same intensity when Vegas throws everything at them? Coach Stephanie White kept her team grounded after the victory. She reminded them it was just one game, not a series. "We've got to keep the main thing," she said. "And that is us playing to our standard, no matter who's on the floor. We over me." Those words resonated because this team embodies them. Despite injuries, despite doubt, despite the noise, they've kept moving forward together. Game 2 will tell us if Indiana can transform a stunning upset into something bigger. If they win again, they return home with a 2-0 lead and the chance to close out the series in front of their own crowd. That would turn them from playoff survivors into genuine contenders for the finals. If they lose, momentum resets and the Aces regain control. Everything hangs in the balance. For now, though, the story belongs to the Fever. A team written off, patched together, and told they didn't belong, has announced themselves on the biggest stage. In one fearless night, they showed that belief is more powerful than odds, that resilience matters more than numbers, and that sometimes the script can be rewritten in front of a stunned crowd. So the question becomes, was this a one-night miracle, or the beginning of something greater? Can Indiana keep making history, or will Vegas reassert itself as the dynasty it was crowned to be? Let us know what you think. Can the Fever shock the world again in Game 2, or will the Aces bounce back like champions? Comment below with your thoughts, and if you're fired up for this team, let it be known. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment of this incredible journey.